it's kind of a small world when you meet with creative and spiritual people, like you find your tribe. So I used to work in the music industry as well, and I used to go to Nikki's raves, and I used to, all of the time. But we were never really friends, and then we linked up on Instagram because I found my tribe of people like Karen and Nikki and other great women through my time of becoming a mother. I used to work in advertising and digital marketing for top brands, for agencies. So when I found Mums That Rave, I was like, oh, finally, you know, because I was always studying all of the, you know, because that was my job for like brands to do social media. So when I became a mum at home, you know, I'm studying and not seeing people that look like me. And then I found my tribe. I found Mums That Rave. And then as a creative, productive, proactive person, I became kind of like an ambassador. Like I'm a cheerleader. I'm a cheerleader of creatives. I'm a cheerleader of women, of people really, of good people. So I was doing my own little marketing of Mums That Rave. So I was inviting all of my network, all of my friends, tagging everybody. And then me and Nikki got talking, and we know all the same people. And actually, we went to the same university.
Yeah, we went to the same art college, which we only found out today.
Yeah, Surrey Institute of Art Design. So I did design management. So we get talking, Nikki's partner moved on, and now I help host Mums That Rave. So for the panel, I'm asking the questions and in the background supporting Nikki because she does so many things. And I'm going, it's okay, Nikki, because I'm a kind of a cheerleader and a spiritual advisor. And Nikki, it's going to be fine. We're going to find the venue. I've got all the people. Don't worry about it. Don't have a heart attack because we need you to survive. So
meanwhile, I still have a heart attack every
time.
time.
She's still, but we support each other and we get the great women. And I'm also Josephine Baker on the dance floor, so I kind of get the vibes going. And yeah, that's me.
Fantastic. And as well as that, you do describe yourself as a digital creator on Instagram, but your blog covers so much more. Can you give us a quick run through of what you do?
Yeah, so I was just thinking about what Nikki was saying about, you know, not saying what you think first time. And my page, I suppose, if I was a brand, you know, working for a brand, you know, I know how it should look and I know how it should feel. On my page, I'm like, I don't work for anybody anymore. I work for myself. I'm a freelancer. So my page is called The Sullivans London, and it's about my life as a black mother, as a wife of 15 years, been together with my husband for 20 years. I've got twins, plus one, and I'm just very truthful and honest. I speak about my IVF journey. I speak about my black activism, you know, as a black mother, as a black woman. I've got my own creative collective called The New Ancestors UK, because I'm convinced that the only way to change racism and get true equity and diversity is to teach white children black or world history. So not what we're taught in schools, like the real, you know, before there was the stuff that we learned in the books, before slavery, there were all, you know, there was the black woman who's, you know, the first woman of the earth, and all of the history and the engineering and all of the great people that have gone before us to bring us here to this country. So I kind of had an epiphany where maybe we all did in 2020 when the world kind of let us breathe and through the madness and the death and destruction, that I thought I can put all the things that I love together. So I've always loved to dress. I've always, I think, instinctively worn my happy and dressed, but I also found that through depressive times, because I feel like when you're a creative, you can get burnout, and being a mother, it's quite mundane and boring, the day-to-day stuff. So I found Karen, and she inspired me to wear my happy, and I found Nikki, and I was raving again, and I had somewhere to wear my clothes, and I thought, oh, can I put all of these things that I love together? So vintage clothing, fashion style, black activism, and my, you know, studying of identity through my master's, which was called Mixed Style, looking at mixed women and how they used fashion and style in London. So could I put all of those things together and teach the children black history? So what I did is I collect loads of vintage clothes, 'cause I like dressing up, my children taking photos, I got a collective of creative people together and created my own little agency. So one of our projects was, I used to love Laura Ashley clothes because my mum was blonde with blue eyes and my dad's Jamaican, but in our 80s house we had like Laura Ashley wallpaper and Laura Ashley dresses, and I loved that, like a big puffy sleeve and a flower. So I created a celebration, a tea party of Afro kings and queens, and what if these children got together and they decided to change the world by looking gorgeous, dressing up, wearing their happy, and making discussions about afros and hair, and basically took all of these pretty pictures by a lake. So that was one project, and then it kind of developed on, and then I thought, another idea, I love the Black Panthers, so this is what I'm going to do. So then I researched into like the Black Panthers in America, but then there was also the Mangrove 9 and the Black pioneers of change and development in this country. So I took, and like some of them I actually know, like it was one of my friends who works in the music industry's dad. I used to go around there for rice and peas and chicken, but the whole history. So we gave them worksheets. I dressed them as a stylist, and then we took photos of them. But the thought of the New Ancestors UK is, I think there was a TV programme called, I don't know, was it Seven, or when they BBC, where they took the children throughout their lives and they interviewed them. So then we not only photographed them dressed as Black Panthers of actual people that they had to research, and then they recall their knowledge, and then they were also asked questions about race and identity. So I've got the children because I own the children. They're my children, but they're also, the collective's children, because I found other people online, like Robert Douglas, and his son had trouble at school with people taking the mickey out of his afro. And he also does great work with black filmmakers. So we got his kids that are black filmmakers to come and film the children talking about their experience of race and how they saw the world and what they thought of this, these great historical people and how they can influence them go forward. So it's difficult, and it's all a juggle being a mother, working freelance part-time. I also work for a company called Brixton Finishing School.
Yeah, tell me about Brixton Finishing School.
So, where I used to work in advertising, so I was a senior account manager for digital advertising. So I've worked with all like the top brands like Nike, Apple, Marks and Spencer's, Twinings, you name it, I've worked for it, Cocoa Butter, and all of these things. But when I went to Surrey Institute of Art and Design, did my design management degree, worked hard, went and saw this amazing conference space and saw these people dressed in black like the Matrix. I thought I want to work there. So I did my work experience there, got in there, and then worked in the music industry because there was a dot-com crash. But what I realised, and then I also then worked at agencies for all of these brands. But when you look at the landscape of advertising, marketing and media, it's very white and middle class, which is kind of what Nikki was saying. So this company, and I work a few days a week, we offer a free course for 18 to 30-year-olds to do a 10-week course. They're taught by industry professionals. We organise taster days, so it's a bit like a kind of Dragon's Den kind of thing where they go. They might be asked to think of a podcast idea with a group of other creatives, and then they get picked by the future employers, who are the agencies or the media companies, and then they pick the talent, and it's not apprenticeships, it's actual jobs. So the jobs start from 25 up, and that we have mentors, and we introduce them to this world of marketing, media and advertising with great jobs, and hopefully we will see the landscape change with more diversity.
That's fantastic. Tell me about the influence that fashion has had on your career and the importance of clothes in your life.
So my grandmother, she came from Jamaica with my dad, I think when my dad was 8, and she's Jamaican, and she was a seamstress, and she made, I think it was high-end shirts and things like that. So and my mum and dad, my mum's blonde hair, blue eyes. My dad was like, it's kind of like a Jimi Hendrix creature man. He's, you know, silver jewellery. He used to have a really big afro, and my mum is her own person as well. I mean, she went to see Shaft on her own in the middle of New York because she was looking to go and see that film, and that's what she was doing. So they're both real great influences in my life, in my fashion and style. And International Women's Day, I'm wearing a power dress suit because I love to power dress, because I'm a child, I was born in 78, but a child of the 80s. And I've just always, I feel like it's a really important part of your identity. It gives me a confidence. You can wear really expensive things, and I'm very honest online where I shop sustainably. So I buy a lot of vintage and second-hand clothes, and I love a charity shop. And if I think about it, it was my white nan who used to always take me to the charity shops. So, and she used to always make me look at all the Hello magazines and all of that. So it's just been a part of my life, and I love it. And my mum always had the next catalogue. So, and then when I did my masters, and when I did my design management degree, my lovely other mother Liz, who was my lecturer, and I said, I want to get a job in a car because I need a car and I want to work for BMW or Mercedes or something. She goes, no, Jade, I think what you should study is black culture in London today, fashion and style. I was like, I can do that. So while we were raving, I was taking pictures of all the fashion and style.
Nice. I wish I'd taken pictures.
Yeah. And then I went to, the Black Cultural Archives before it was the big, building it is now. It was a little little shop area, and I researched and I did that degree. And then I went on, when I was working in the music industry, snaky industry, I thought, I really want to get back to doing. So I did a master's in enterprise management for the creative arts. And then that allowed me to do my thesis, which was mixed style, and me studying whether being of mixed heritage influenced your fashion style and identity. So that was a real deep dive into, race, identity, and I got a distinction. So, yeah, it's just part of me. As I say, when I've had times of depression, and I speak about that very openly on my page, you could see me crying or in a ball gown. It could go either way, or twirling, yeah. So,
we're women who twirl.
Yes. So I think it was from lockdown as well. I think me, Karen, and Natasha, we like dancing in our kitchen to our reggae or any music, to be honest. It could be anything. And we used to tag each other as something to do. And then I thought, I've got all these ball gowns, because I buy ball gowns. I think I'm Beyonce and I'm going to go to the Oscars.
You do send me pictures of ball gowns all the time.
Yeah.
You trying on ball gowns. I'm like, where are you going?
But then it was kind of allowed, like in lockdown, you were allowed to go. There was a lady, I think you posted it on...
taking the bins out.
Taking the bins out in a thing. So I really got into this dressing up and randomly like twirling in my street, in my ball gowns, or doing a bit of Black Lives Matter. So then I thought, do you know I used to really love? I love Wonder Woman. And she always used to do the twirl, and I thought, yeah, Wonder Woman twirl. So I just started tagging everybody, and then everyone was doing it. And it was just a way of me really wearing the clothes that I've got in my closet that my husband's like, what is this? Why are you wearing that? But I post it on there, and then I tag Karen, can you do one? And can you... Well, Nikki hasn't done one, she's not nice. But all the other, mums that rave girls, they were all twirling. And actually, spiritually and probably anciently, I think putting on something beautiful, like historically, and then actually the physical movement of dancing or actually twirling, it can turn your mood. So like, when there's all this racism and weird news and all of this, or I'm really depressed about something that's gone on in the house, whether it's my children or husbands, I just get I could be crying on the floor, and ball gown, put it on, video myself, do a twirl, and I feel better. So it's just about changing your mood and feeling empowered within yourself.
That's fantastic. You've kind of answered one of the questions on the sheet, which is advice for anyone looking to find happiness in their creative practice. Put on a ball gown and have a twirl.
Yeah, and also I'd advise, I think a lot of creative people might go through burnout because, you know, it just kind of works hand in hand, you know, burnout, depression, and I'm diagnosed with bipolar, whether I believe it, but okay, fine. I feel that it's really important on my page, and, you know, Karen's inspired me to talk your truth and tell your story, and then that gives you strength to own your story. And just that we're all a community and that nobody feels alone. So a lot of things that I share are probably certain people are like, why is she sharing that? But I'm like, we're through my writing, and I'm trying to write a book about my experiences with mental health. I feel like our life on this planet, you know, through creativity a lot of the time, but spiritually is about finding your tribe and your people and helping each other artistically, or just, you know, being friendly and just working together as a community. I feel like art and, you know, design and music and culture can really change, and that's what I want for the future for my children, is, you know, a bright sparkly rainbow world where we can all twirl together.
Thank you. And very last question, a woman who's inspirational to you because it's International Women's Day.
All these women are inspirational to me here. I would dedicate it to my grandmothers and my mother, because a lot of the time, and maybe now we're better at, you know, with social media, you know, hyping other people up, but I know what my white grandmother went through with, you know, mental health and raising 5 children and all of that stuff. And then I also know the racism that my black, dark-skinned grandmother went through when she came here, and I honour her in my work and telling my story to try and change things for my, you know, darker toned women around me. And my daughter, you know, when you mix, you get lots of different shades. So I honour my grandmother in everything that I do, and she's very special to me, and she was an absolute great woman, but she wasn't given the credit that she deserved.
Let's give her that quick round.